Friday, May 6th. Oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. So exhausted. I even put my glasses on because I can't see. My eyes are like shutting. Yeah, they're shutting down. Okay. Where do I start? So it was interesting yesterday. Really fascinating just to follow up on the course discussion on pro or anti-pornography and just this wide group of what's the word? I can't even think straight. It's not just about pornography. It's not just about pornography. It's this wide spectrum of it's really about sex. Maybe I should hold up. Advisory. This entry is gonna be about sex. So you're already fully warned. If you're not comfortable with talking or hearing about sex, this may not be for you. Because I know it can be triggering for some people. You know, I mean, it happened last night in class, in terms of just one's comfort level with just talking about sex, reading the material that we were supposed to read, and preparing for this debate. You know, I was interesting to hear my peers talk about their comfort level, and it just reminded me of Project Survive's presentation when we're talking about good sex and as part of healthy relationships, and you know, if it's even included, right? Because not all healthy relationships require sex, right? Like a friendship. But this element of, if you're not comfortable talking about sex, you should not be having sex, period. Right? And that came up in our discussion in our small group before we did the big group debate, was this element of just how uncomfortable we are within our society, in the US at least, right? Because that's all we can speak for, or at least in our groups, of not being comfortable with our bodies, not being comfortable with this topic of sex and what happens to our bodies and what we can do with our bodies, right? And this element of if we're not comfortable with ourselves, that's then going to impact how we interact with other people and their bodies, right? And this whole, you know, overturning possibility of, and I don't know because I'm not paying attention to the news, but this element of like what's going on in the news, right? Of you know, one's own body and just, it's just so wow. I mean, so that came up, and so it's not just pornography that we're talking about. We're talking about sex workers. We're talking about sex education. We're talking about you know, just how we learn about sex, right? And how we get in touch with our body and what makes us feel good and what we don't like as well, and then the violence that can potentially occur, right? And so I'm gonna include the video link that if I did not already include it yesterday or in the video, the talk before, I'll include it again in this one, regarding sex workers and just the different, the way that the different parts of the world are addressing it. But it was so interesting to hear my peers talk, and we're quoting different parts of the readings, and this recognition, right, of the importance of having more conversations about sex and about our bodies and being more comfortable with that. And just even the barriers to that, right? Again, it goes back to religion and these very, you know, conservative views about it, but then that, you know, hides this element of needing to be addressed. I mean, I remember within my family, we had an older, she wasn't related to us, but it was my cousin's mother-in-law, older lady. She never got checked. like a women's wellness check, and they ended up finding out that she had cancer. I don't remember, it was cervical cancer. And then I'm like, well, why wasn't she taken in? Well, because she's older. We just didn't think she, she didn't use it. So why go check it? It's like, it's like, no, like, I mean, again, just how we've been brought up to view our bodies in this, like, I don't want to look at my body, right? And so then when stuff happens, right, we don't pay attention to it. We don't know how to listen to our bodies when it comes to stuff like that. It was just a great discussion, and even there was a quote from one of the articles that was highlighted. It was Jessica Valenti from Pop Culture Gone Wild. This quote: "If we don't approve of the porn culture that tells us our only value is in our ability to be sexy, we're prudes. If we accept it and embrace it, we're sluts. There's no middle ground to be seen." Sound familiar? So again, this duality of how we view life, how we view ourselves, how we view our sexuality, our bodies, right, our comfort, and how we express ourselves, right, and just, there's so much to learn about our bodies, and just how we're being, how that's being taken away from us, really, whether it's by not acknowledging it through sex education, balanced sex education, or by, outside agencies like the government trying to make decisions for our bodies, right? And again, really kind of, to an extreme side, it's only about women, right? And so this element of just, there's no middle ground. There's no middle ground, right? In the world that we live in. So anyways, I have 5 minutes left. I had a dream. I had a dream. This is where the other disclaimer is. If you're not comfortable with sex, what I'm going to share, and I may not have time to talk all about it, but I'll share as much as I can. And it's falling into place. The last dream, and it's one of the videos that's getting ready to post, where I'm looking at what I considered a deformed, like, private part vagina, right? It wasn't deformed. It was not deformed. And here's why. It was in essence, like a limp dick. It was a limp dick, but it was a limp woman's dick. So it's the clitoris. So for women, the clitoris, if you don't know where that's at, look it up, is in essence the replica of a male's penis. And so, when we, reach an orgasm, that's the part that gets stimulated, and it actually even hardens up similar to the penis, and it even has like a covering, and so it's I remember taking what was it? It was a child development course. It was biology. It was so fascinating how that part of the body gets developed in a baby. It's just so, I'm going off a tangent. So the dream, so anyways, it hardens up. It hardens up, similar to a penis. The dream that I had that's about to post for me in my real time, but by the time you guys get to this video, it'll be in your past, where it's deformed. It's not deformed. It's kind of like a limp, not aroused clitoris, really, but it was more pronounced for me. And it was very, like, it looked deformed, because for me, I was just like, why is that being highlighted in that way? But it wasn't. It was just not aroused, not erect, right? Not ready, in essence. And in this dream that I had tonight, or last night, it was on me. So last time it was on someone else, and it was like right in front of me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? What is that? But this time it was on me. And so it was my clitoris, basically, but it was aroused, and it was like intense, where it looked like a dick and a penis. I should use the correct word, penis. I'm entering a bed, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm aroused and I'm seeing it, and there's this need for me to masturbate, and I'm going into this restroom, to masturbate, and I'm ejaculating all over but it's all over the restroom. I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's everywhere. And there's this urge for me to taste it. I'm already gonna say it. This might gross people out. Shoot, it's already 11. I'm gonna have to time this up because I have an appointment, but I'm gonna continue it at that point. Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience, and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.